The linkage fee was first implemented in 1990. It's called a linkage fee because of the link between new commercial buildings, the people who work in those buildings, and their need for affordable housing. Voice of San Diego's Andrew Keats is here with more on the issue. And Andrew, welcome back. So tell us, why was this fee established?
Yeah, I mean, it was basically established for the same reason all kinds of fees are established, which is there was some programs that the city needed to fund, and they needed to find a new way to do it, and so they went to something that a lot of other cities do too, which is this linkage fee. I call it an affordable housing fee because that's really what it's meant to do. Is they charge this fee on developers, and then they take that money, put it into a fund along with a lot of other sources from both state and federal sources, and then they use it to build subsidized housing, basically.
So this is a fee that commercial developers pay, as you mentioned, and I understand it's based on square footage. How much do they currently pay right now, and how is that assessed?
So it's different for different types of buildings: warehouses, retail space, office space. For office space, for instance, it's about $1.06, I think, right now per square foot, and the increase that the city council has before them is to take it to about $5.30. So it's quite a sizable increase.
It sounds like a lot, but it's been a long time since this fee was increased.
Right. So the fee was first implemented in 1990, and it was at 1.5% of current construction costs. Current construction costs in 1990. That was where they got the square footage rates. In 1996, they came back and they said, you know, we really want to spur development a little bit. Let's cut this in half, and that's exactly what they did. So then it became, and this is what it's been ever since, 0.75% of 1990 construction costs. And so then over the years, there's been various different attempts to raise the fee. All of them have failed, of course. For instance, 2 years ago, they tried to just double the fee, bring it back to what it was initially established at 1.5% of 1990 construction costs. This increase is to get it to 1.5% of current construction costs.
How did the city decide that this was a legally viable option?
Yeah, so whenever you assess a fee on development, you need to do what's called a nexus study. You need to prove that what you're charging the developer for is going to be used to pay for things that are related to that development.
Right.
So for a housing project, for instance, you can charge a development fee saying that the new residents are going to use the roads, which is going to deteriorate the roads, so you need to have this fee to repair the roads. So basically, they needed to do the same thing. They needed to create a nexus study that demonstrated that there was, in fact, a relationship between the types of jobs that exist in each type of building and their need for affordable housing.
And what about other cities? They have similar fees. How does San Diego compare?
Yeah, so within the Nexus study, they needed to do a Nexus study in 1990 to establish the fee. They needed to do another Nexus study to justify raising the fee. So in that study that was put out earlier this year, they compared San Diego to a bunch of other cities in California and said, what are other cities doing here? And we were in the bottom, the very bottom level in terms of how much we were charging. And even with the increase, we're still going to be in the bottom quarter of all cities that have the fee. But it is important to keep in mind that within the the county of San Diego, the city of San Diego is the only municipality that charges this type of fee. So if you were looking to build a development project, office space or something, right on the border of San Diego to Poway, it would suddenly be much, much cheaper just to move it a quarter of a mile into the city of Poway, because they don't have any fee like this.
No, the San Diego Housing Commission, or the folks who that run subsidized housing programs in San Diego, they're proposing this fee increase, and how come they're the ones proposing it?
So they're in charge of all sorts of different affordable housing projects. They hand out the vouchers that the residents use to pay for affordable housing, and so they basically are in charge of making this suggestion, right? So they have their own vote. They make their own recommendation to the city council. The city council, of course, has its own autonomy, and it can vote however it wants.
Let me ask you this. I'm supposing developers are opposed to this fee. If that's correct, how come?
So developers are opposed to the fee for the obvious reason that it's going to cost them more money. Now, that said, the basis of their opposition is twofold. They say two different things. One is that Proposition 26, which is a voter-approved initiative statewide that basically says that voters need to approve any tax increase. And they say, that's been passed since this was first implemented, so this makes it illegal. The city attorney, for his part, came forward and said, Proposition 26 really isn't an issue here. There's a list of exceptions, and this falls under it.
So it's about money. Voice of San Diego's Andrew Keats, thanks very much.